Good morning. Welcome back to DX Radio Shop. Excuse me. Wow. Scratchy throat this morning. Our morning rag shoe. How's everybody this morning? We've got Kevin from Oklahoma. We've got Greg. How are you? Good morning. Mr. Rick, how are you? It's going to be a beautiful sunny day here today in New York State. Let's see what we got here. Get my email open up here, kind of see what questions we have for the day. See what we have. Okay, so it looks like here there we go. I have a $29.90 I need to have fixed. What will it cost to go through for the complete line and put it back to factory, as this radio has been through the ringer and is a splattered box. Took this radio to a shop down in Savannah, Georgia. Not happy with it. Got it back. Ever since I got it back, it's been nothing but splattering, bad reports. I need to get this thing fixed. Can you help me? Okay, sure, no problem. No problem. Hold on, it's gotta go through and put the tags on here where they belong. Let's see. morning, Sylvester, Rick, Bluegrass. How you guys doing? Hope everybody had a great weekend. Let's kick off our week now and see how things go, I suppose. Looks like we've gained 8 new subscribers since late last night to early this morning. Wow. Every day we get more and more, at least 3 or 4, if not 5 new subscribers a day, which is nice. That's all done. Let's see. Alright, let's go back to my emails here. Morning, Ace. How are you? How you guys doing today? Morning, Steve. Morning, Leadfoot. So, okay, another email question says, how tall should my antenna be, or what length of antenna should I use for CB band? I'm new to the hobby. Someone says you gotta have a certain length. Is that true? Okay, so, well, it kind of varies, really, depending on what antenna you want to use. So you can go from mobile antenna to base antenna, right? So if you're going to go to, I mean, the ideal thing is to have a quarter wavelength, really. So if you're going to have a base antenna, for example, then you got to have something of a quarter wavelength, at least minimum. And that's going to be typically like a 102 inch, like an 8.5 foot tall, 102 inch width. If you're going to use, well, let's refer this back to a mobile antenna, rather. Sorry. So a mobile antenna would be about that. However, you could take the same exact antenna and hoist it up in the air about 50, 60 feet, and for a base mount antenna with just that width, they do exactly the same thing. You'll get out a lot more better distance. I've seen people do over the years. Now, as far as a metal roof goes, the guy says he's got a metal roof. Well, any metal roof is going to be a problem. So you want it to be at least 10 feet minimum, if not 15 above any metal structure, especially metal roofs. So if you do not have one, then 5 or 10 feet is perfectly fine. Like a normal TV tripod, if you will. But otherwise, if you got a metal roof, then you want to be at least 10 feet minimum above that metal roof, if not 15 would be better, but 10 would be perfectly fine. And that would keep you enough away any kind of interference with that roof. So I actually had a guy email me a while ago. He says his roof actually helped him. So what he did was he actually bolted the ground portion of it right to the roof to get his SWR done. I said, what were you doing for an antenna? Put an antron up. I said, oh my goodness gracious, you don't need to do that. I said, just put on a mast, put it about 10 feet from the bottom of the antenna above the roof, and you should be fine. So he changed and did exactly that. His SWR went extremely way down. I mean, he was at like a 1.4, which was not bad. He said it helped a lot, but his SWR went down to flat when he got it 10 feet away from the roof. So But yeah, you want to try to keep it within reason. I mean, you're looking for a quarter of the wavelength of the radio signal for the best efficiency. Really, that's pretty much what you want to do. So, let's see what else we got for emails. Okay, here's another one. All right. Let's see, from Kyle. I have a Wilson Trucker 5000. I was told that's the best, most powerful antenna on the market. No, it is not. Hello, Ryan. How are you? I'm Williams. How you guys doing? Like, share, subscribe. Thumbs up, guys. Appreciate that. Yeah, Wilson 5000 is a good antenna. However, it is not the most powerful, best antenna. By far, it is not. It's actually way down at the lowest point of the total pole. So, even though they are a good antenna. Serial 5000 is a very good antenna. You can go with a Predator 10K is an excellent antenna. I mean, they've got so many different varieties. You want to try to find something that's got gain. That's the whole idea. You got to have gain. If you got a Wilson 5000, there is no gain. Whatever you put in is what you got going out theoretically. So yeah, that's not going to be your powerful antenna as a Wilson 5000. Okay, the other part was what do you recommend? Well, a serial 5000. Same thing for base antenna. You can do a serial 5/8 wave, but if you sound like just for mobile, it would be the serial 5000 or Predator 10K would be your good choices right there. Here's a beautiful question. Good morning, Chavez. Here's an awesome question. I like these questions. Okay. Should I run an amplifier to get out better distance on any given day? Wow. Okay. This comes in from actually Jersey, from a guy named Carl. And he says he wants to know about that. Well, here's my advice to you, or my opinion, my solution, whatever you want to do, my expertise. Okay, you do not need an amplifier. An amplifier is a want, number one. Number two, if you can get out just good without, then you don't need an amplifier. Now, sometimes you need that for a little extra boost, and so people would put one in line. However, it's not going to guarantee that you're going to get out. It's all based on conditions. That is the biggest key point, is conditions. You got to have a really good antenna system, and you got to have really good conditions. If you have atmospheric noise, it could be maybe you're fighting against the F layer, E layer. It could be the ionosphere. You could be going against a lot of different things that could be interrupting your signal, your performance of your system. That doesn't mean you need an amplifier to boost up anymore, because you figure. In fact, I just talked to a couple of guys about this recently. One guy wanted to put a 500 or a 1K. It's like, okay, what's the purpose though? Because I want to get out, I want to be heard. Okay, well, that's cool. Do you want to hear the people that can hear you? I said, well, yeah. Do you think the amplifier is going to help you? He said, well, sure. I said, well, how do you figure? The amplifier is going to help you get out. Is it going to help them get back to you? He said, well, no. Well, then you can put as many watts as you want into it. But if you can't hear them, then what's the point of you putting all that power out? The amplifier is only good for one reason. Can I hear you? Okay, I can hear you just a little bit. Then, okay, if you want to kick your amplifier on, okay, now I got a little bit better, legible reading on it. I can actually hear you a little bit more. Then, okay, that's about what it's good for. It's not going to be, I'm just going to dump out 1K, 2K, 3K, 10K amplifier because I want to. I got it here. I put all that money into it. Or I got me a 8 pill, 12 pill, 16 pill, 32 pill box. I just want to use it. For what reason? I mean, it's like buying an airplane you can't fly. Well, I went out and bought the airplane. I got the airplane. I just wanted it. When I was sitting in the front yard, does what? So, I mean, we can do this all day long, different analogies, So the idea is the amplifier is good for many purposes, but It depends on what you do. So I'll put you like this. You can have the most expensive fishing pole, the biggest badass Bass Pro boat, and all the stuff you want. But if the fish aren't biting, then what does it matter? You're going to go out there and spend all that money, 40, 50 grand and everything, go out and spend a whole weekend blasting it out there in the lake, and you come back empty-handed. So kind of same thing. You can do all you want with all that fancy power. By the end of the day, did you get any contacts? So it's based on antenna system, based on conditions. Those are your two key factors. The amplifier is only a help in certain times and needs, but again, it's a want. It's not something you have to have. People figure, well, hell, I'm a general class now. I'm an extra. I can legally do this. Yeah, okay. Well, you can legally go out and get yourself a gun permit too. Does that mean you got to fire it? Does that mean you got to play cops and robbers with it? Does that mean you got to take and just pull it out of your holster because you want to? And there's a lot of things that come along with responsibility, or different things that go along with that per se. So with radio waves, you got good radio waves, good conditions, then okay. Some days you need a little boost, kick it in, but you don't need it just because you want to, or because you just want it to be heard. Just want it to be heard. What about them wanting to, if you can hear them back? So, okay. Here's another question. I got all kinds of emails this morning. Goodness gracious. It's a Monday morning, guys. You're killing me. Okay. What does a MIDLAND do? And can I use that for CB radio antennas? Okay, so here you go. Yes and no. I would not use that for a CB antenna for many reasons, but do they work? At times, yes, provided and dependent on the application in which you're using it for. So in this case, depending on how you're going to build your antenna, the type of antenna you're going to use, etc. Otherwise, 99% of the time, you do not need that for CB antenna. But again, it depends on what you're using it for, etc. So what does it do? Well, it's going to convert an unbalanced signal, is what it does. And it's like an AC signal, and it's going to balance it out. So therefore, will help you, which is commonly used. We use it all the time to kind of reduce your low RR frequency signals. If you got TV interference, this, that, and the other. If you want to make a couple of inductors, that would help along the way as well. So different things you can utilize for with the MIDLAND, but again, it depends on the application, what you're going to use it for. I would say not for CB unless you're going to build a certain CB antenna that's going to require it. Oh, here's another one. Okay, part 2 question. Do I need grounding rods for my base antenna? Absolutely, yes. You should always have grounding rods. And now here's a little key thing. This is what people don't want to tell you. They don't want to tell you. They want you to do what you want to do, and if you're not smart enough to figure it out and you fry something, then you get to make the phone call. It's like pull a name out of a hat, and that's the shop you're going to go to, right? So here's a key factor, guys. Do yourself a favor. I love working on radios. It's my passion. It's my full-time job. But I don't like working on stupid, okay? Get yourself an old glass jar, an old canning glass jar. If you have any kind of storm passing through or about to come through within a 10 or even 15-mile radius, and it's headed your way, disconnect your coax. A lot of you guys know this, and a lot of you guys have already talked to many times about this. But a lot of the ones who are watching and don't know, here's what you do. I don't care what your experience is. I don't care if you've been in this for 50 freaking million years. Listen to what I tell you, okay? Take your coax, disconnect it from your equipment, stick it inside of that glass jar. RF cannot go through lead. Do I make myself clear? I've had this question numerous times. People say, oh no, I can do this. No. RF cannot go through lead, period. And if you think it does, or if anyone's going to make a comment that says, oh yes it does, then you are not a technician. You are not educated to understand what lead is, okay? So no, RF does not go through lead, period. Now, by sticking that into your glass jar, what it does, if you came home and you see the shattered glass jar, you had a direct hit. Think about the amount of money you just saved on your equipment. Okay, because you would have had to replace your equipment if it's that far off, if with a direct hit, not going to be repairable. More likely it'll be junk. the amount of volts going through that strike. So, but if you have any kind of storm coming through and you're like, oh geez, I don't know, lightning storm, okay, thunderstorm, put your coax inside of a glass jar. That way it doesn't damage your equipment. So if anything ever goes wrong, it stops right there. Okay, that's the whole key thing. So please pay attention to that. And yes, always ground your antennas. Always keep things good, because that way earth ground will theoretically again will take care of the blast if you do get a hit. But always have that secondary option. Get a glass jar, put your coax inside, so therefore if something ever goes wrong, at least you didn't fry your equipment. Okay. And I've actually had people, stupid people, email me and make comments. Well, I don't use a glass jar, I just leave it connected. I'm perfectly grounded, I've never had a problem. Well, that's a 50-50 shot, buddy. If you want to take and play a gamble with your equipment, and like mine, hell, I've got damn near close $80,000 worth of equipment here that I own. Do you think I want to have mine fried? Do you think I got 80 grand I'm just going to pull out and replace it just because of stupidity? No. I got many great things I can blow 80 grand on, and that sure sounds not going to be over my stupidity. So, glass jar, guys. Use it wisely. Ground all your stuff outside and internal. Take the side of your amplifier, the side of your radio case, the side of your SWR meter, the side of your dozy watt meter, whatever you got in line, ground everything. All the cabinets and chassis that you've got, you're using for equipment, ground it all. And then, take your coax again, have a glass jar nearby, so just in case, I would rather have that happen. I've only had one person ever tell me they had a direct hit, and it shattered the glass jar. He came home, he saw the glass jar, he's like, uh-oh, and he called me up immediately. 10 o'clock at night. He says, I hope I didn't wake you. I said, no, I just get ready to go to bed. Why, what's up? He says, man, you saved me a lot of money. So well, what happened? He says, my glass jar shattered on my stand right here. I said, oh, you had a direct hit, did you? Well, that's odd, because I usually don't ever hear anybody ever having direct hits, because if your stuff's grounded good. He had a direct hit. He says, man, oh man, you know what he had for equipment? Brand new ICOM 7300 connected. The other antenna he had 4 antennas hooked up, and all lines were inside that glass jar. Whichever one got hit, I don't remember which one it was, he said now, but either way, he had an ICOM 7300, he had all kinds of equipment hooked up, all of that would have been fried. Okay? That's a lot of money, guys. Use your brain wisely. So, anyways, it is 7:30. I gotta watch the clock. I gotta get my daughter to school, and I gotta get moving here and get my repairs started. So, answered enough questions for this morning. Anyways, good morning, Corey. How are you? Good to see you on. And so, if anyone's got any questions, feel free to ask. Like, share, subscribe, thumbs up, and we'll be back here shortly at the DX Radio Shop. Thank you all for watching this video, and we'll be back shortly.